I had people coming into my office and talking to me about how they needed to work on their work-life balance, that they thought they were working too much. Nobody seemed to think they weren't working enough. It was always interesting that they were working too much and that the balance had to be in the other direction. But anyway, there was this notion that you had to split these two things, that there was work and there was life. Well, according to the research, the boomers, a lot of whom have no intention of ever retiring, are taking their cues from the millennials and saying, you know what, why can't I work with my friends? And why can't my friends work for me? And why can't my friends and I have a company? And why can't I do all of those things at the same time? Why can't I be part of this gig economy? Why can't we embrace this notion that a 9-to-5 job in an office with a cubicle next to another cubicle next to another cubicle, maybe I don't need to do that anymore. Maybe I can have 3 gigs going at the same time. And maybe my life and my work should be integrated so that when I'm having a dinner party on Saturday, the first people I want to have over happen to be the same people I spent the whole week with. If you can set your life up so that it's an integrated life, then every day is a day off. You're only hanging out with the people you love. Everything's great. And I don't mean to make it sound like I've got the brass ring, but since I sold my company, this has been one of my prime directives, to quote Star Trek. I only want people in my life who I actually would be happy to sit and have a beer with in my living room. And I've done that. And so my friends are my clients are my friends, my employees are my friends are my employees. It's perfect. There's no reason to think about balance anymore. It's perfectly balanced all day, every day. So seems to be in tune with the research. I am kind of here from the future. I come from an industry that has gone through major disruption and change as a result of technology, and some of us have found ways to survive. I can tell you what's going to happen to you in about 5 years. So those of you who are at the ends of your career, you're probably going to skate through just fine. Those of you who are beginning your career or in the middle of your career, you got to listen to this stuff and you got to be watching for this stuff because it's going to impact you. There's one guy in North America who photographs big giant trucks for Mack and Peterbilt and Western Star. He's the specialist. He travels with a team of 5 people who all fly business class only. They only will stay in really nice hotels. And his daily fee, because he's the one guy in North America who knows how to do this properly, is astronomical. And he's in such demand that he says no more often than he says yes. And you know why? Because when that truck comes off the assembly line and he gets it all set up and the photo's ready to be taken, he can look at the bolts on the front tire and say, those are the bolts from last year's model. And he's the only guy who can do that. And he just saved that company $100,000 in reprinting their brochure because it's the wrong bolts on the tire, because he's a specialist. So all these new tools and new technologies suddenly hit the world. And it changed not just the way we worked, but it changed who we were. Because you know what else happened? We invented, as a result of these tools and technologies, we invented weekends. We invented labor unions. We invented paid vacations, didn't exist before this. We invented the nuclear family. This is my favorite story about the first industrial revolution. There's all kinds of tools and technologies that are coming our way. And I think some of us are aware of some of them, but I still think we think about them like fax machines. They're like toys. They're like these cute little things that my kids play with. They don't need distribution. They don't need warehousing. They don't need a factory in China. They don't need retail staff. They don't need a space in the back room to store 14 different sizes of 16 different color schemes of 14 different kinds of shoes. None of that stuff is going to be necessary if this technology takes off the way some people are predicting it's going to take off. Anytime, this is one of those big clues, anytime you see an industry going through democratization, that's when change is imminent.